Welcome back to my channel. I'm Mark Phillips, and if you are new here on this channel, we talk about business and lifestyle design from the inside out. And in this specific series, we talk about big ideas from popular books and movies and seminars and essays that you can use to put to work right now today in your life in order to get more of what you want, be a more conscious creator, and really have the best life experience that you can have. And in this episode, we're talking about the rules for being human. Now, this, I think, is attributed to Cherie Carter-Scott, but there's some information online that leads me to believe it might have been Dan Millman, but most of it is Cherie Carter-Scott, and that would kind of jive because I grabbed one of my, I think I've got two books from her. This is one of her books, if I can get that not to reflect in the light there, and it's kind of similar to this. The rules for being human have a similar tone and kind of a similar way about themselves. This is called If Success is a Game, These Are the Rules. And I read this book years ago. I don't remember much about what it was, but I must have really got a lot out of it because look at all those tabs, right? That was back in the day when I was using tabs a lot. I stopped doing that for that exact reason. I just would put so many in every page, and now I do highlighting or little marks in the column, something like that, a little less like intrusive to the book. But this was in my tab days, and I went through a bunch of tabs. So as we do in this series, I'm going to read this to you. If these essays or books are short, I'm going to read it to you. This just prints out on not even a half a page of 8.5 by 11, but it's super awesome. And then I'm going to share with you 3 big ideas that I see going on here, again, that I think will help you apply them. You can apply them to your life and help you have a better experience. So let me read it to you, then we'll dive into the big ideas. Okay, the rules for being human. The following is written by an unknown author. However, it contains some timeless jewels of information that are worth passing on. It is titled Rules for Being Human. Okay, you will receive a body. You may like it or hate it, but it will be yours for this time around. You will learn lessons. You are enrolled in a full-time informal school called life. Each day in this school, you will have the opportunity to learn lessons. You may like the lessons or think them irrelevant or stupid. There are no mistakes, only lessons. Growth is a process of trial and error, experimentation. The failed experiments are as much a part of the process as the experiments that end up working. There are no mistakes, only lessons. A lesson is repeated until learned. A lesson will be presented to you in various forms until you have learned it. When you have learned it, you can then go on to the next lesson. Learning lessons does not end. There is no part of life that does not contain lessons. If you are alive, there are lessons to be learned. There is no better place than here. When your there has become here, you will simply obtain another there that will again look better than here. Others are merely mirrors of you. You cannot love or hate something about another person unless it reflects to you something you love or hate about yourself. What you make of life is up to you. You have all the tools and resources you need. What you do with them is up to you. The choice is yours. The answers lie inside you. All you need to do is look, listen, and trust. So that is the rules of being human that I think Cherie Carter-Scott wrote. Could have been Dan Millman. But let's dive into these 3 big ideas that I pull from this. The first big idea is this idea of detachment. If we're learning lessons and there's no mistakes or no successes, and it's all just a lesson game, as she's alluding to here, that would lead me to believe we really have to cultivate a level of detachment for life. Not get attached to our wins or our successes so much, and not be attached to our losses or failures so much. This is challenging for human beings, right? No one wants to fail. No one wants to lose. No one wants to be a loser. We all want to win. We all want to succeed. But if we're learning lessons, and by the way, I will talk a little bit about what I feel is kind of similar to the Akashic record style here, which I know a little bit about, not so much, but a little bit about. But this level of detachment, if our soul's incarnated in this body and we're learning these lessons, whatever lessons we chose to learn, and this kind of ties in with the Akashic records, right? Then we need a level of detachment here, right? And so we don't want to get too attached to the outcome, because that can make us happy when things are going right, and that's awesome. But the other end of the spectrum, it can make us sad when things are going wrong. And so detachment is kind of a underlying theme that I pull from this, which is kind of one of my core principles for life, to adhere to that idea all the time, right? Detachment from the outcome. Number two, the second big idea I pull from this is there's really no right place in either time or space that we need to be at. Right where we are is exactly where we need to be in order to learn the lesson that is being given to us, right? So that we can go to the next level. I think human beings have a tendency to say, well, if I was 10 years younger, or if I was 10 years older, or if I just lived here, the environment there looks conducive to having the success that I want, or the people there look like they'd be, more conducive to the success that I want. Those are two huge traps, time and location traps, right? I mean, how many of us have not said, I know I do this all the time, and say, oh, if I had just started 10 years earlier or 20 years earlier, I'd already be where I want to be. Or I would have had so much more time to practice and learn and discover, and then I'd be further down the path. That's a huge trap. Remembering that we're always in the right place, the time and space, for our perfect expression and our perfect creation, and to do the right thing. I mean, I love hearing stories of successful people that didn't realize their success till late in life, because I think there's this kind of toxic story or toxic kind of situation going on, where we're hearing about people having success younger and younger and younger, right? You're hearing about, millionaires in their 30s, millionaires in their 20s, and even teenage millionaires. And how would that make a person feel if you're 40 or 50 or 60 and you still haven't realized the success that you want to realize in life? If you're not detached and you don't have your head screwed on straight, you could feel kind of like a failure. But realizing that everyone's on an individual journey, everyone's on an individual path. I think about this all the time. Just because someone realized success early in life doesn't mean that you're not going to realize, you may realize success later in life. Maybe that's your plan, right? So remembering you're always in the right place and the right time. The third and final big idea that I pull from this is that it's an inside job. She talks about this idea that the answers lie inside of you. And if you're learning lessons, all of those lessons are to help you heal or fix or transcend some internal, I want to say, like dysfunction or dis-ease, flawed thinking, misunderstanding, some healing of your soul or your body wisdom, some trauma, that has happened. But all those lessons are to help you heal. The lessons are our friends, right? They're kind of stepping stones on our journey to full self-realization and, full expression and being a fully integrated human being, right? I call it full spectrum living. When you can operate in the world in a way that is, you're open, you're totally aware, you have a good relationship with yourself and self-understanding, self-confidence, self-knowledge. That's the ideal goal. And the only way we learn that is by going through these lessons. Now, let me circle back and touch on kind of what I see here that's similar to the Akashic records. Most of what I know about the Akashic records comes from, I think it was Brian Weiss's work, and he's transgression. I hope I have that word right. He's transgressing, I think it's transgressing, people into past life experiences. And this one client that he had, she gave him a lot of information and data about what goes on, what is happening in the universe, in human beings in a bigger picture. And there was talk of that, right? Different masters are assessing her after each life experience and gathering different types of data, and really, kind of she's downloading what she's learned in those life experiences to these masters, and they're kind of cataloging and organizing it. And that's my understanding of the Akashic Records. It's like a record of your soul's journey. And I'm not super versed in that, and I'm not super knowledgeable about that by any means, but it is an interesting idea, and I think about that from time to time. I personally don't fall into this school of you've got all these lessons to learn and you advance through life in that way. Which isn't to say that I don't believe in lessons like that, but I just think of life in a little bit different way. Probably a topic for a little different video, but I don't think, like we're in some school and we're, either going to get a pass or a fail, or we have to do these things. I think it's an individual journey, and we really want to try to align up with our inner being, higher self, as soul. And when we get the closer we get to doing that, the more life works for us. So that's kind of how I look at it, a little bit different here. But those are the three big takeaways. Detachment, you're always in the right place in the right time, and that it's an inside job. And really, the more work that we do on ourselves, the better our experience in life gets, right? Hopefully you've realized this on your journey. It doesn't just happen on its own. I mean, there's legitimate diving in, right? And finding different tools and practices or resources, whether it's meditation, journaling, maybe you do past life transgression, or different types of therapy or coaching. But honestly, it doesn't change until we fix or understand or hold up these beliefs that we have in our consciousness that are holding us back or keeping us from realizing certain experiences in our lives. And that takes inner work, and that is no joke. And I think that's the best kind of work, because as we heal the inside, remove those roadblocks that are keeping us from achieving the things we want in life, that's when we move forward. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. That would be super awesome. And if you haven't subscribed, you can do that on the channel right now. Turn on the bell if you want to be notified when new videos come up. I've got a bunch of new videos that I'm making in the Big Idea series. I'm kind of pushing this as I approach 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. A lot of good things coming in the near future. I'm excited to share those with you. So thanks so much. Have an awesome day. All the best, health, wealth, and success. And remember to keep creating consciously. Bye-bye.